One of the hardest pills for a man to swallow is realizing he's been giving his time, his energy, and sometimes even his heart to a woman who was never truly interested in him from the start. And here's the wild part. You don't usually realize it right away. It takes weeks, months, sometimes even years before it hits you. And by then, the damage is already done. Now let me make something clear. If a woman genuinely likes you, you won't be confused. You won't be sitting there rereading her texts like you're decoding some ancient script. You won't be wondering why she always cancels plans last minute. You won't be stressing over whether or not she's into you. Because when there's interest, it's obvious. It's consistent. It's undeniable. The real problem? Most men don't miss the signs because they're blind. They miss them because they don't want to see them. And that's where things get dangerous. Because sometimes, she's not just disinterested. She's pretending she's interested. And that's how you end up wasting months, maybe even years, in a dead-end situation that slowly eats away at your confidence. And listen, this video is not about bashing women. This is not some all women are bad rant. This is about protecting yourself as a man. Because the wrong relationship doesn't just waste your time. It can destroy your focus, your peace of mind, even your future. I want you to walk away from this video sharper, stronger, and more aware. Now, here's why you need to stay locked in. I'm about to break down 5 crystal clear signs that she's not into you. Even if her words, her texts, or her behavior sometimes make you think otherwise. And if you catch even 2 of these signs, that's your wake-up call to stop chasing before it costs you more than you realize. Listen to me carefully. This might just be the most important video you'll ever watch on this channel. Why? Because this is not theory. These are real signs, real patterns, and if you learn to spot them, you'll never waste another second on someone who doesn't value you. And I promise you this. If you stay with me until the end, not only will you recognize the traps, but you'll also see the number 1 sign most men absolutely refuse to accept. And that one is the most painful of them all. So lean in, stay focused, because what you're about to hear could save you from months, maybe years of frustration, wasted energy, and heartbreak. 1. She treats you like an option, not a priority. When a woman is genuinely interested, you'll never be confused. She'll text you first. She'll remember the small details you share. She'll carve out time even when she's busy. Why? Because where there's interest, effort always shows. You'll feel like a priority, not a backup plan. But when she's not interested, the signs creep in quietly. She'll always be too busy, but somehow she has time for other things. She'll reply to your message hours later, sometimes even the next day, with a dry lol or okay. And when you try to make plans, she cancels, but never reschedules. Notice that, because people who truly want you in their lives will always find another time. If she never does, she's silently telling you where you stand. And here's the dangerous trap most men fall into. They rationalize it. They think maybe she's just going through something. Or she's probably shy. Or worse, if I just keep trying harder, she'll see my value. But let me ask you, if you were her true priority, would you even be asking these questions? Now, here's what makes this sign tricky. Sometimes she won't ignore you completely. In fact, she'll give you just enough attention to keep you hanging. She'll throw breadcrumbs, liking your story, replying with a 1-word comment, or dropping a playful emoji here and there. And you'll feel a spark of hope, thinking, maybe she does care. But here's the reality. That's not investment. That's stringing you along just enough so you don't disappear completely. Think about it. If she wanted to see you, she'd make it happen. If she wanted to talk to you, you'd feel it in the consistency of her replies. Attraction doesn't play hide and seek. It shows up, it leans in. It makes space. If you're constantly chasing, you're not her priority. You're her backup. Now, let me plant this thought. How does it feel when you're with her? Do you feel chosen, or do you feel tolerated? Because deep down, you know the answer. You can sense when you're important to someone. You can sense when they're making space for you, versus when they're only entertaining you out of convenience. And if you're being honest with yourself, you already know which one it is. And here's the real kicker. The more you chase someone who treats you like an option, the lower your value sinks in their eyes. Why? Because you're showing them you'll tolerate crumbs when you should be demanding a seat at the table. And once someone knows you'll settle for being second, they'll never see you as first. So the question is, how do you spot this before you waste your time? Watch the consistency. Look at her effort when you're not putting in yours. Does she reach out first? Does she check up on you when you go silent? Or does she disappear completely until you come running back? Because if her effort only exists when you're chasing, it's not real effort. It's control. And here's where it gets really interesting. Sometimes her words say, "I like you," but her actions scream otherwise. And actions always win. So if you want to know the truth, don't listen to what she says. Watch what she does. If you're always waiting, always second-guessing, always chasing, then you're not her priority. And that leads us to something even more revealing, because sometimes she won't even have to tell you with her behavior. Her body will say it before her words do. And that's where the next sign comes in. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button. If this is already hitting something real, what's coming next will hit even harder. Let's keep going. 2. She's with you, but her attention is somewhere else. Now, this one can be even more painful than her canceling plans. Because at least when she cancels, she's not physically there. But when she's sitting right in front of you and still not present, that stings on a whole different level. Here's how it usually goes. You're at dinner, you're talking, you're trying to connect. But instead of engaging, she's scrolling through her phone. She's texting someone else. She's looking around the room like she's searching for an escape route. She laughs at her screen more than she laughs at your jokes. And when you pause for her reaction, she doesn't even notice because she wasn't listening in the first place. Let's be real. When a woman is interested, you have her full attention. You could be talking about the most boring detail of your day, and she's leaning in, smiling, adding little comments, asking follow-up questions. Why? Because she wants to connect with you. She wants to know more about you. Even your boring feels interesting to her. But when she's not interested, every second with you feels like a chore. Every conversation feels like work. She's physically there, but mentally, she's checked out. Now here's what most guys miss. They start trying harder to entertain her. They think, maybe I'm not being funny enough. Maybe I need a better story. Maybe I should impress her more. So they start overcompensating. They talk faster, they add more jokes. They brag about their achievements, hoping to spark a reaction. But all it does is make the disconnect even more obvious. Because interest doesn't come from you performing like a clown. It comes from genuine attraction. And you can't force that. Think of it like this. If you're telling a story to a close friend who actually cares about you, do you feel the need to perform? Remember, they're engaged just because it's you. But when you're telling a story to someone who doesn't care, you could give the most dramatic, exciting, wild version. and they'd still be glancing at their phone. That's not a reflection of your story. That's a reflection of their interest. And here's something important. If she's acting distracted, don't confuse it with her being shy or nervous. There's a difference. A shy woman may stumble over words, she may blush, she may avoid eye contact for a moment. But she'll still be tuned in. You'll feel her energy. You'll see she's invested. A disinterested woman, on the other hand, will make you feel like you're talking to a wall. So how do you test this? Simple. Pay attention to her engagement. If she's asking you questions, if she's laughing at your stories, if she's remembering little details you told her last week, she's invested. If she's giving you one-word answers, barely looking up, and seems more excited to get back to her notifications than to hear you speak, she's not. And here's the key. Don't chase her attention. Don't fight for it. The more you try to win over someone who's mentally absent, the more you drain your own energy and self-respect. Because here's the truth. When a woman wants you, you don't have to beg for her attention. She gives it freely. So if you notice that you're constantly fighting for her eyes, her ears, her presence, take it as the sign it is. She's not really there because she doesn't really want to be there. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop wasting your time. 3, she starts comparing you to other men. Now, this one is brutal because it hits right at your pride. And here's the thing. She won't always do it directly. Sometimes it's subtle, and sometimes it's painfully obvious. But either way, the message is the same. She doesn't see you as the man she wants. So she points to others as the standard you're not meeting. Here's what it looks like. You're having a casual conversation, and she drops a comment like, "Wow, my coworker is so ambitious. He just got promoted." Or she says, "My ex used to take me to this amazing place." Or maybe she constantly talks about a male friend who's just really funny, really thoughtful, really different. At first, you might laugh it off or tell yourself it's harmless. But the more she does it, the more you realize she's not just talking. She's comparing. And let me tell you something. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she doesn't put other men on a pedestal in front of you. She doesn't highlight how great they are while making you feel small. In fact, when she's attracted, the exact opposite happens. She'll see the best in you even if you're not perfect. She'll brag about you to others. She'll talk about your strengths, not your flaws. But when she starts comparing you, that's her way of showing you that, in her mind, you're not enough. And once she starts thinking like that, her attraction begins to fade faster and faster. Now here's where most men make the mistake. They try to compete. They hear her talking about some guy at work, and suddenly they're trying to match him. She says, "He's so ambitious." So you start bragging about your goals. She says, "He's really funny." So you start cracking jokes that don't even land. She mentions her ex, and you scramble to prove you're better. But here's the problem. The moment you start competing, you've already lost. Because she's not comparing out of admiration for those guys. She's comparing to highlight her lack of admiration for you. And this is where self-respect has to come in again. If a woman constantly compares you to other men, that's not inspiration, that's disrespect. And if you allow it, you're teaching her that it's okay to belittle you. Now, sometimes she won't even say it out loud. Sometimes the comparison is silent, but you can feel it. You notice her energy shift when she talks about another man. Her eyes light up, her voice changes, her smile becomes more genuine. And when she's with you, that glow disappears. That's comparison too. She just doesn't have to say it. because her actions already do. Here's the harsh truth. You should never fight for a place in her heart against another man. If she's truly interested, you don't have to compete, because she only sees you. The moment she starts dragging other men into the picture, she's telling you, without saying it directly, that she doesn't see you as the prize. And if you ignore that sign, thinking, maybe if I just work harder, maybe if I just prove myself, maybe if I just outshine the others, you'll end up losing yourself trying to win a game you were never supposed to play. Because here's the reality. Real attraction doesn't make you feel not enough. Real attraction makes you feel valued. It makes you feel seen. It makes you feel like who you are is already more than enough. So the moment she starts making comparisons, you need to ask yourself a question. Do I really want to be with someone who can't see my value? Or am I wasting my time trying to convince her of something she's already decided she doesn't believe? And here's the kicker. When a woman starts comparing you, the next step is even worse. Because once the comparisons start, disrespect usually follows. And when disrespect enters the picture, that's when you know the connection is in real trouble. 4. She only shows up when it benefits her. Now, this one stings the most, because on the surface it can feel like she's giving you attention. But in reality, she's only giving it when it serves her. And here's the thing. At first, it doesn't look obvious. In fact, it can even feel flattering. She texts you late at night because she can't sleep. She calls you out of nowhere when she's upset about some other guy. She suddenly pops up when she needs advice, help, or even just validation. And in those moments, you feel useful. You feel like maybe she trusts you, maybe you're special. But pause for a second. Does she show up with the same energy when you need her? Or is she suddenly busy, distracted, or flat out cold? Because that's the real test. Connection is mutual. It's give and take. If all you ever do is give, and she only takes, then you're not in her life because she values you. You're in her life because you're convenient. And here's the dangerous part. Many men mistake this kind of attention for interest. They think, well, she keeps coming back, so she must like me, right? But no. She's not coming back because she can't resist you. She's coming back because she knows you'll always be there, ready to pick up the phone, ready to comfort her, ready to fix her problems. And guess what? That doesn't make you her man. It makes you her safety net. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed that the energy is never equal? She'll pour out her emotions when she needs comfort. But the second you try to open up about your struggles, the conversation dries up. She'll lean on you when she's lonely. But when you reach out just to connect, her replies are short, delayed, or sometimes non-existent. If that sounds familiar, then deep down, you already know. You're not her priority. You're her backup plan. And here's where most guys get trapped. They think, if I just keep being there for her, she'll eventually see my value. But let me drop a hard truth. No amount of loyalty to the wrong woman will ever make her see you differently. Why? Because in her mind, you're not the prize. You're the crutch. And the more you allow yourself to be used, the more she'll keep you in that box. Now here's something interesting. Sometimes she doesn't even do this intentionally. She may not wake up and think, I'm going to use this guy today. But whether it's conscious or not, her behavior tells the story. She knows she can lean on you when she needs, and she knows you won't walk away. And that comfort keeps her coming back. Not attraction, not desire, not love. Just convenience. So how do you spot this early? Pay attention to when she shows up. Does she check in randomly just to hear your voice or share something funny that happened in her day? Or does she only call when she's sad, stressed, or needs something? Because if her presence is only tied to her problems, not to you, that's not connection, it's dependency. And here's the kicker. You might think you're helping her by always being available. But in reality, you're training her. You're teaching her that you'll always show up, no matter how little effort she gives in return. And the longer you play that role, the harder it becomes to break free, because now she expects it. So the real question isn't, does she call me? The real question is, why does she call me? If the answer is always about her needs and never about yours, then she's not with you for you. She's with you for what you can give her. And the moment you stop giving, watch how quickly she disappears. And that's the painful but freeing truth. Because once you recognize that, you stop confusing attention with attraction. You stop mistaking convenience for connection. And you finally take your energy back, placing it where it's truly appreciated. And speaking of energy, that leads us perfectly into the next sign. Sign 5, disrespect. Now this, right here, is the nail in the coffin. Because once respect is gone, everything else follows. You can recover from distance. You can recover from lack of effort. You can even recover from mixed signals. But once disrespect enters the picture, the foundation is cracked beyond repair. So what does disrespect look like? It can be subtle at first. Maybe she starts talking over you in conversations, rolling her eyes when you share your thoughts, or dismissing your opinions like they don't matter. Maybe she starts making sarcastic jokes at your expense, mocking you in front of friends, or belittling your achievements. At first, you might brush it off. You might tell yourself, she's just joking. She doesn't mean it. I'll let it slide. But the problem with letting it slide is that it sets the standard. The moment you accept disrespect, you teach her that it's okay to keep doing it. And it only gets worse. Because disrespect is a sign she no longer values you. She no longer sees you as the man she admired or the man she wanted. Instead, she treats you as an option, or worse, as someone beneath her. Now let me make something clear. Every relationship has moments of conflict. No woman is going to agree with you all the time, and disagreements are natural. But disagreement and disrespect are two completely different things. Disagreement is about the issue. Disrespect is about you. And when a woman shifts from disagreeing with your ideas to disrespecting you as a man, that's when you know she's checked out. Here's an example. A man told me once that his girlfriend started saying things like, "Why can't you be more like so-and-so?" Or, "You'll never understand, you're too sensitive." At first, he thought she was just frustrated. But over time, it became clear. She didn't respect him. And when a woman doesn't respect you, no amount of love or effort can fix it. Here's why this is so dangerous. A relationship without respect is not just unfulfilling, it's toxic. Because every time she disrespects you and you accept it, your self-worth takes a hit. And the longer you stay, the more you start believing that this treatment is normal. But it's not. Respect is the foundation of attraction. And when it's gone, everything else crumbles. So what do you do if you notice this sign? You don't argue, you don't beg, and you don't try to win her back by proving yourself. You set a boundary. You make it clear, through your actions, not your words, that you will not tolerate disrespect. And if she continues, then you walk away. Because here's the truth. It's better to be single with dignity than to be with someone who chips away at your self-respect day after day. And that brings us to the bigger picture. Because when you step back and look at all these signs, the excuses, the avoidance, the lack of effort, the emotional distance, the comparisons, and the disrespect, they all point to one reality: she's not interested. And the longer you deny it, the more time you waste on someone who has already shown you she doesn't see your value. But here's the flip side. When you learn to recognize these signs early, you stop chasing the wrong women. You stop pouring your energy into people who don't care. And that creates space for something better. For a woman who will respect your time, who will put in effort, who will be emotionally invested, who will see you as the prize. So remember this: interest is never hidden. If she wants you, you'll know. If she doesn't, you'll feel it. And when you feel it, don't fight it. Accept it. Because walking away from the wrong woman is the first step to making room for the right one. So there you have it. 5 undeniable signs she's not interested in you. Now, here's my question for you. Have you noticed any of these signs in your own life? And if you have, what did you do about it? Drop your story in the comments. Because trust me, you're not the only one who's been through it. And if this video opened your eyes, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share it with a friend who might need the wake-up call, and subscribe for more insights on relationships and self-respect. Remember, sometimes the most powerful move isn't chasing harder, it's letting go.